Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome back to the NOFO Live Show, where I, Sunita, along with my co-host Tracy, we hop on every Friday and talk about everything North Fork. Let me start with Happy New Year. Winter has set in and it feels really, really cold, and I'm just emerging from that. Then, boom, next thing you know, it's Friday. So, welcome and welcome back. Typically, what we do for our New Year's show. Good morning, Tracy. How are you?
Equally as cold as you are.
Like I literally put a turtleneck on, and I'm like, this is really cold.
I have leg warmers on. You can't see it, but
Inside your
I'm like,
house.
yes, yes. I have leg
Well, it
warmers.
is that kind of a day. I was watching the sound, and I always think of the polar bears because I'm in the group where they, talk about where they're going to plunge. And to me, it is fascinating that it doesn't matter what it looks like outside. That 7 a.m. crew shows up at 7 a.m. They couldn't go in the sound today because the wind is too strong, so they go in the bay.
Yeah,
But this is their problems. You ready? The bay is too shallow. So they
yeah,
literally have to lay down in order to get
yes.
wet. But
Well,
they're so committed, they do it.
I am
And sometimes
I
they,
am well aware. Our family, and in fact, I'm sharing a post today. Our family did our New Year's polar plunge in
oh,
the bay,
oh,
and
and did you have to walk pretty far? Or sometimes they'll comment on how they had to walk almost to Shelter Island to
yeah,
get wet.
yes,
Oh my God. So you guys did do your
we did.
New Year's. Well, Happy New Year, first of all.
Happy New Year. Yes, we did our plunge and it was wonderful. And I too am amazed at the dedication of the polar
I
bear
agree.
crew
I agree.
because
And they are going to have their annual fundraising plunge later, so we will talk more about that later. But good
Verona.
morning, Verona. Happy New Year.
Good morning. Happy New Year to you too.
I'm loving what's going on with your hair.
I know.
It has this, I don't know what, but it has a
It,
glow. It
Just
has,
for you.
oh,
it's a very glamorous
uh,
blowout you've got going on.
well, meanwhile, my
Mine
hair is like,
called roll out of bed.
You have the grace of the curly hair, so.
exactly, that's what we think. But she has her own struggles, allegedly. I don't understand them, but she has them. So I was starting to say that typically for our New Year's show in the past couple of years, we have shared our word of the year. And so for the last couple of days, I've been ruminating and trying to figure out my word. And I think I've come up with one. Tracy, have you come up with one yet, or you're still working on it?
Well, I had written down a word, I think it was back in August, that I was like, oh, this is my word for 2025. But I feel like in the frenzy of the holidays, I haven't had time to really, as you said, ruminate on it. So I'm not sure if that's my word, but I
Okay,
think it is. I think it is. I don't know. I
okay,
need more time.
okay.
Mhm.
Well, you have enough time till a week and 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing we have done, and we
Actually,
started.
actually, if I go with the word that I'm talking about, I have until December 31st of next year to really ruminate on that word, right?
Interesting. Interesting.
Because
Well,
you're not the same person every single day. Okay, so I'll share my word. My word was thrive, and it wasn't necessarily the traditional definition of thrive. It was more like it's life is about the journey and you should try to thrive within each day because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. And I feel like for me there's so much uncertainty from day to day just with a 3-year old so and with a business, running a business and being a single mom, and so trying to think about what's going to happen over the course of an entire year just feels impossible.
Too much.
So I
Too
can I
much.
can think about what's going to happen today and set a goal to try to thrive in today. And what
well,
does that look like?
but I
And
also,
tomorrow's thriving might be a different definition.
but I also love the focus on, in India they have a saying that says it's easy to pray in a temple because everything's all cleared out. You're in the right space. You can pray here, but in a day-to-day environment, right, that's harder. So your focus on thriving, no matter what is going on around you, is such a wonderful a feeling and a thought and a focus.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Well, and
I love it.
it's like that saying that you hear of, like, life is not about the end goal, it's the journey. And really that's what I have to focus on. I really, and most believe in how I live my life is about living in the moment, in the present, day to day, and trying to do something each day to make yourself a little bit more, to grow, whatever that means for you, you know, to grow just a little bit each and every day. And then being able to look back and say, oh my God, look at how much I've grown this year, you know?
Yeah. And you have a 3-year-old that literally shows you what is to grow every day. So
Yes. Yes. That's
I
so
just wanted
true.
to say that Melissa is in Baja California in Mexico. So she's 3 hours earlier.
Oh,
And she was gonna try to wake up early and be part, so if maybe she jumps in at any moment, just in case. Because I don't know if you see who request. I don't think I see it, but maybe you do.
I do see it, but you're on as Weme, correct?
Yeah, so she might come in at form.
Okay.
There,
Yeah, when a request shows up, I am anticipating her showing up, but I didn't realize she was 3 hours. I
yeah,
knew it was Mexico, but somehow my brain didn't go 3 hours. I thought it
she's
was an
on
hour.
she's
I
on
thought
the
it was an
west
hour.
coast, so it's like
I see. I see.
earlier.
Well, first of all, congratulations to Melissa because she got married
Yeah,
a few months ago. So I'm hoping she's enjoying some quiet time and some family holiday time or soaking in the sunshine, whatever she's doing in Mexico.
yeah.
Um,
Honeymooning,
I figured
honeymooning.
yeah.
it's either second, third. Hopefully, she gets to take plenty in 2025
Yeah,
because you guys work so hard with the studio, which we're gonna get to. But I want to jump real quickly and just talk about the word that I picked, and what I resonated with radiance, and it was more about. I saw this quote that said something to the effect where the sun is not apologetic for shining; it just shines.
Ooh.
And so it was more about just being who you are, letting your light be, and not feeling guilty about being who you are or standing in your light. And somehow, I guess the older I get, the more I am accepting of who I am, good, bad, ugly, all of it together. So that's sort of where that word resonated with me. And of course, standing, even just yesterday, it was so cold, so windy. But at some point, 4 minutes before the sunset, the sun started coming out from these gray clouds, and it was just literally radiating those rays. And I was like, I have to walk down there and capture this. So I feel like I get a daily dose of that radiance every day, and it's just a constant reminder for me to just be me and show up as me.
I
I love
love
it.
that visual of like you filling your cup with the radiance of the sun each evening to
Every
fill
day.
you up for the next day.
Every day.
It's really amazing.
And I know how lucky I am to have the opportunity to be able to do that. And sometimes I catch myself, like even yesterday, I kept saying, "Wow, wow!" And my husband, obviously he's there and he enjoys it, but then he looks at me like every day you say "wow," and I'm like, "But every day I feel wow." But I don't want to lose that. Sometimes I feel like a little kid, as if I'm seeing it for the first time, but it's just magical.
Doesn't look
Something
like
about living
you're
here.
gonna lose it.
I
It
hope not.
doesn't.
I hope not. I mean, it's been quite a few years, and I'm still drinking the Kool-Aid. So there we go. Do you pick a word, Verona, or do you do resolutions, or what
I
is your?
pick many words.
Okay.
I write a lot of words. I cannot commit to one word.
So
Uh,
any direction you want to share, like what is the theme? Because sometimes you pick multiple words and they all lead in the same direction.
yeah. So normally I pick words yeah, and this is me personal, not as the studio. Um, because as the studio, we sometimes telepathically think the same,
Oh, I
but
have a separate word for my business too. This year I went two separate words, so I
okay,
understand.
good. So I always try to write words like expansion and curiosity, connection, compassion, freedom, love, peace, calm, all of these things I want in my life every day. But a word did come up these few days as for something that I need more, and is order. And it might come weird for some people, but for me as a creative, my mind is always like fireworks exploding everywhere. And something I want more is order, and just like nature's, how petals have this beautiful order, and like this order in nature where it's not about being rigid, but it's about having a continuity and you know um a pattern.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that idea of order. So that's kind of something I need more, but without letting go of all my other words.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned calm, and I personally, for me, I am a bit rigid about my order, but whenever someone sort of comments on my rigidity about order, I always say, this is how I feel calm. I know
Yeah.
that, like, if I walk into my room, my living room in the morning, and it's a mess from the night before, I feel chaotic inside. So for me, keeping my house in order helps my mind feel calm, because similar to you, mine's not necessarily a creative explosions, but it's just racing all the time with like
Mm.
all the things I need to do and all the stuff, and the way that I can kind of keep this in order is by keeping my life in order. And I feel like that order, with order comes calm for some of us. For some of us.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
also love how everybody has a different perspective on the
Hmm.
word, right? You hear the word order, and one part of you may think it means structure and it means rigidity, like the word you use. But immediately the creative in you, Verona, went to describing it using petals. And I'm like, oh my God,
I
there
know.
couldn't be a more
Yeah.
beautiful way of, because what you're gravitating towards is that making sense of chaos in a beautiful, creative way rather than at 9 a.m. I'm going to do
Yeah.
this, and then at 12 a.m. I'm going to do this.
That's
So,
almost it's like, no, it's as you each of us know ourselves, each of us know what it means to us. Yeah. And for me, like that sketch on all that, it's actually hard, even harder for me. But I think we expand ourselves, we become more a complete person when we lean into the things that are unknown. So for you, Tracy, might be being a little bit more spontaneous, and for me, more order. So, there's no right or wrong, it's just who we are. So,
Yeah.
and I also love how many different words, you want to gravitate towards, but how the universe throws a word at us that we know in this moment that's what we need, and from year to year that focus and that a thought changes, and I love that. And I was
yeah,
cracking up, Tracy, when you said you thought of your word in August, and I'm thinking August is half a year. You still need the rest of your story to be
Yeah.
like what you needed last August is so different from what you need in this January,
yeah.
I know.
And maybe
well
she needs a word every day. We need a different word
well
every
she
day.
said she
That's,
said for the whole year, but which is the point, I guess,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That it changes, and we go through different seasons, right? So you're what you need right now may not be what you need 3 months from now.
yeah.
So
Yeah. And so the perfect companion to the word of the year conversation. And last year we started this tradition. We hosted a vision board workshop at Veme Studios, allowing us to sort of further expand on what that word means to us and putting a visual representation of that. And there is no better place on the North Fork to let your creative side out than Veme Studios. So if you haven't watched the show with Verona and Melissa on before, where we talked about Veme, go back and rewatch that. But definitely, Verona, start with what is Veme Studio and what is your and Melissa's thought process in opening up this space?
Well, Veme is a multimedia studio, and multimedia means that you can come and explore different media like painting, pottery, watercolor. We included collage, which is similar to what the vision board is, bead making, painting, pottery. So all these different ways of which you can come in and enjoy a time by yourself, with your family or friends, and explore this medium and have fun creating. So that's in a nutshell what we are. We're a multimedia studio, but the difference is that we're open, you can come in and create. We have a menu, kind of like a restaurant. We call it the art bar, and you choose from the menu. So if we three come together, we can each choose the medium that speaks to us, and we have a window of 2 hours or more to create something. And it's been great. We get people from all ages, people that are leaning towards creativity by itself, and people that maybe haven't painted or haven't made a ball since preschool. and they come back and they enjoy it. We want to give another alternative to people other than food and drink.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with eating and drinking, but we want to give another alternative for people to come together, to create together. And besides that, all the cognitive and spiritual and benefits that creating brings you. We truly believe that in that, all those words that I mentioned, it's what creating brings to me. And we believe that anyone can access to that through creativity, to creating. And we believe that everyone has creativity within them. We might express it in different ways. You know, you express it in the way you cook or in the way you treat your garden. Creativity is in everything we do, but sometimes as society, we've kind of categorized it as, oh, you have to be a painter to be creative or a ceramic artist. No, you are creative in the way you wake up, in the way you move. So we want to expose that to our community and have that space where you feel safe and you feel excited to create and have fun.
What I like is also someone who might be thinking like, oh, I might want to try pottery, maybe wouldn't want to pay and sign up for like a 10-week course because they're not sure if they like it. So at Veme, you can come in and try it for this 2-hour period and decide, oh, okay, I do like this, or this isn't for me. I'll stick with painting or whatever it is. So I
Exactly.
like that you
Yeah.
get to try the different things.
Yeah, and we do offer workshops that are one-off. So, for example, if you want to try pottery in that example, Melissa teaches different classes where you learn a different technique in each class, which is really smart because then you can learn the coil technique doing a vase, and then you can learn the slab technique doing a mug. And that way it introduces you slowly to the hand building technique. And as you say, Tracy, okay, if you like it, then you can commit to something,
Yeah.
more deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other great thing about the art part is the flexibility, right? Let's say you are good at pottery and you enjoy it, but your life is busy like Tracy's, and you don't have the time commitment of every Monday or every Wednesday or whatever the
Yeah.
class is. The minute you find yourself with the free hour or 2 or 4, you have created this welcome space where you could step in, enjoy a hot cup of tea while you let your brain just I don't want to say de-stress, but I guess you begin with de-stressing and invite the creative juices to
Yeah.
flow, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing I love is your use of the word multimedia, because you're right. It's a little scary to think that you're an artist if you know that you can't reproduce Picasso, because you think that that's the first definition of artist, at least for me, that's what I think of.
Picasso.
But yeah, well, painting. I mean, painting and
High
drawing,
standards,
right?
high standards.
Yeah.
But what I love is you are a living example of multimedia, because you are a beautiful painter and an artist that creates beautiful canvases. But then you started sewing, and now you're creating these beautiful quilted jackets out of
Thank you.
out of older quilts, and it's a beautiful expression of your art.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the idea is that we can explore and see what happens, see what happens when we explore. And I'm a big fan. I know I this is my career and this is my commitment, but I believe in hobbies. Like, go ahead and have a hobby without any commitment, because as adults we have this structure, job and stress, and we rely on it for our income, and we put so much weight on it that if we do something that doesn't have that weight and we just enjoy it, it can really give us back so much more than we think.
Yes, I completely agree. And unfortunately for most of us, we don't make that time
Yeah,
often enough to do that.
yeah.
So it's wonderful. So you said anytime you're open, people can come in and just walk in and say, I'd like to sign up for the art bar. So when are you guys open?
We change depending on the season. So if you're watching this live, go on our website and check what season we are. But at the moment, we're open Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the month of January. We're going to go down to 2 days in February and then open back Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for spring. And then in the summer, we're open 7 days a week. So we're we open depending on demand. And we're also open if you have a private work group and you want to have a private workshop, we can do it any day of the week.
Well, and so that's a perfect lead into what we're doing. So Sunita mentioned it before, but we are hosting a NOFO Live vision board workshop at Veme. Sunita, remind me the date.
Thursday. It's Thursday, not next week, but the week after that, Thursday, January 16th,
Yes, that's what I
from 5 to 7,
thought.
from 5 to 7 p.m.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And
So
it's
you
going to
can,
be a lot of fun.
it
Do you want
is.
to explain a little bit of what it entails?
Yes.
We'll let you run with that, Verona. You're the creative vibe spokesperson for this part of the event.
Okay, so Sunita and Tracy are the hosts, so they're gonna say hello to you and bring you their beautiful energy that they have, which is excellent for this exercise. And you will have access to different magazines, and either you bring the word of the for the year, and again, it doesn't have to be. I never want to put pressure on people, like you have to find the word,
Yeah.
but maybe just let the word speak to you. Sometimes when you're collaging, more often than not, the images speak to you. So you're gonna go through magazines and books, and the images that jump to you, those are the images that you can choose to use on your vision board and place them and glue them like a collage or more like a vision board. You can go either way. With a vision board, it's more about things that maybe you want to manifest in your life. So I'm a believer in that too. I think visual and the exercise of cutting it and that it spoke to you is very powerful. So you can think of feelings and things that you want in your life, not necessarily things, but emotions, right? For me, it's not necessarily about the things, but how they make you feel. So
Yeah.
sometimes a lot of people will cut more words, some people will cut more images, and have 2 hours to cut and glue and be in community with other women and men that are coming that day. We already have some signups. I haven't counted them this morning, but we still have space. So if you would like to come, the link is on our website. The event is on our website, and we can link it here.
Yeah.
So you can sign up for Thursday the 16th, and it's gonna be fun. It's always fun.
It is. It
There's
is.
no
And
way around it.
I want to talk about my experience last year because it was my first time doing a vision board. So if you've never done one, it's a very safe space
Yeah.
to try one. And I was very surprised about what happened during the 2 hours because I kind of was a skeptic. I was like, I again order. So I'm thinking like, how is a picture gonna speak to me? Like I know what I'm gonna pick out, and I just followed the rules and I just flipped through pages and I just ripped out anything that I went like, ooh, for any reason. And when I finally looked at everything I had out, I started to notice certain patterns, and I'll explain like one of them. So I had been incorporating more color into my home design because that's what everybody on Instagram was doing. And I realized I was picking out all of these pictures of neutral homes. And I realized that I wanted to go back to that. And the more I thought about it, it was like I have such a small space that having the neutral color makes it feel bigger to me and more open and more calm. And so I got
and
I
more you.
and more
Really,
me.
that's that,
But
and more you.
well, and but to be honest, like the colors that I had incorporated were navy blue, which is me. Navy blue is me, but I realized navy blue has a place in my wardrobe, but not necessarily my living room. And it took going through this exercise and seeing that I kept getting drawn to this and that I had gotten caught up in watching what everybody else was doing, to realize that that's not really what I wanted. And so that was such a weird, like not at all what I expected, right? Like I expected I was going to go there and be like, this year I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. That was not not what I was expecting at all. And it was a very interesting process that happened within this 2 hours of just
Well, and
looking at images.
unless you've gone through it, it's hard to kind of believe that that's what happens because
Yeah.
when like I have a vision, I have a word of the year, right? So I have a starting point. But I fully understand what you're saying is because when you're flipping through so many things and your brain is making quick decisions or is quickly attracted to something, it's really almost your subconscious that's gravitating towards it because you're not giving yourself enough time to process whether or not this is trendy, whether or
Yeah.
not everybody else is going to like this, whether or not I'm allowed to enjoy this, right? You just immediately go, like you said, ooh. And once you do that enough number of times and put it together, you're like, wow, this is who I am and this is what I want in my life. And it's such a beautiful way to put a visual representation of that
Yeah.
together.
And another thing that I experienced through the process was something that I had been thinking about for years. A lot of time spent thinking about it was working on my backyard and working on just again something regarding my house, which makes sense, right? Because I'm in this season of my life with my daughter where we're home most of the time. But doing the exercise of the vision board allowed me to put a reason behind why I had been thinking all of it. And it was that I wanted to have the feeling that I get on vacation, which for me is not having to be productive all the time within my own backyard. And that, like, to be able to put it into words, it wasn't just like, I want this pretty backyard. It was like, what specifically am I trying to get out of changing my backyard to this? What is it that I want to achieve? And that made it so much easier to realize, okay, these are the things I really need, and these are the things that I want because they look pretty, but this is what I need to feel that sense of you can relax, you can not, you do not have to be productive. You can just sit here and be in nature. And again, that was something I learned through this vision board. So to me, I'm like so excited. I'm not going in with any, I'm not even going to go in with the thrive word. Like, I am just going to go in and see what comes out of this, because I feel like it's so buried deep behind all of my to-do lists that I don't even know it's there. And these type of activities help bring it out.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's perfect. That's the perfect outcome when you just don't have any expectation and just let the art or the motion speak to you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you having the awareness of, like understanding, or even if you don't know it right away, you have some space and time to be like, oh, wow, look what it told me, or like, look what I processed through it.
Yes.
Do you
And
guys have
I
your
don't know
vision
about you,
I,
boards?
Sunita, but
I
I
do.
have
So
had mine sitting next to my desk all year long. All
Oh,
I
year
wow.
had
long.
mine up for a long time, but it was like double sticky tape and it fell down, so it's rolled up somewhere at this point. But what I wanted to add about that, what I want to share first about your backyard, Tracy, you've been talking about it for a while, and I'm not saying you ended up doing it in 2024 because you put on your vision board, but I guess I am kind of saying that because there is this weirdness, and I'm not a woohoo kind of person, but I do believe when I look back at my vision boards from the last 5 years, so much of what I put in images there, and it may not be right away, but when I look back, I'm like, oh my God, I actually did that, or I actually have this, or if there's something that I didn't, then my brain goes, maybe, either I've evolved or changed and it's no longer serving me. So I'm excited for what I flipped through this year. A few things I know I want to go towards, but some things like you, I'm willing to just let nature guide me where I need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe your word should be woo woo, Sunita.
No, I said I'm not a woo-woo person. So,
Let the
but I
woo woo
want to.
in.
But I believe I know Verona's joking because we did a card collage thing with her, and I thought that was witchcraft magic. But it truly did. I truly did pull out a card that spoke to me. So who knows? But I want to circle back to the art bar because just like this event that we are having, where you can just show up as
Yeah.
yourself, you don't need to bring anything but yourself. Similarly, that's how the art bar works, right? You don't need pre-planning. You just show up, and any supplies, whatever you need, you have in the store that people can
Yeah,
use.
this is a menu, not that you cannot see it online. You can see it online, but it's kind of like a cafe menu, and you have things that I mentioned, and we give you everything you need. We give you all the clay, we'll give you all the tools, the scissors, the glue, everything you
The
need,
canvas, the paintbrushes, everything.
everything, and then you create. So, and then when you leave, you don't have to clean. You can leave it all on the table. You just take your art home, and we take care of the rest. So it's great, and that's why our tables are all painted,
Talk a little bit.
because
I want you to also be able to share about the studio membership, because I love the concept of that for somebody that wants to continually be
yeah,
creative.
the most popular one is the pottery membership, and the membership that we've seen that works the best and people like the most is the 10-day membership. So, for example, when you come to the art bar, you pay $60 for pottery. We glaze and fire the piece for you. That means that you leave your pottery with us and we glaze and fire with you. That means there's more work behind the scenes that you don't necessarily see. And then you come and pick up your piece. If you're a member, you get to stay the whole day we're open and create and use the studio, the pottery studio, as you like. So you get 20 pounds of clay. You don't have to use them all in one day, obviously. You use them through your 10 days, and you allow your pieces to dry. We fire them for you, and then you can glaze them as well, which is a great benefit because then you can choose what colors, what pattern, and what time you want to do it. And then people can choose to come those 10 days, consecutive days. We have some members that come every Saturday, or some members that come every once a month, and they come anytime they can. And we have wonderful members that create beautiful things, and it's great to have them because they bring more different energy to the studio. They bring different artistic expressions, and we love to see, of course, what people do all the time. So that is available.
I feel like that would be such a wonderful gift to give somebody, because since what you mentioned, it's not 10 consecutive days. And if they want to, even you're talking about the pottery, but it's also if they want to let their inner Picasso out,
Yeah,
because you do include
yeah,
canvas and paint, so they can come and start working on a project and leisurely work on
yeah.
it in a beautiful
We
environment.
do have we do have it for painting as well, and I separate them because the cost is a little bit different. Of course, the pottery is a little bit more because of the cost of the kiln and all that. But for painting, we have a member that every time she comes, she's painting her grandson, and she's been like painting her grandson every time. There's like 5 versions of her grandson. It's like just so fun. And I sit down with her when I have time, and we chat, and we exchange tips, and it's just great. And she made a friend with another member that comes and do encaustic, and now they make a date and come and create at the same time. So it's also an opportunity for different people that maybe, their friend group moved away, or maybe they just moved into Norfolk to meet new people, or maybe you're in a different stage of your life and you need this kind of different type of social circle, and you can meet some wonderful people here because you're sharing that exciting area of learning something new. And we've seen many friendships blossom here, and we're excited that we can, it can be a space for that as well, community and friendship.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. That's
Yeah,
great.
I love it. And you're talking about meeting other people, but I feel like anytime I'm in Greenport, I definitely have to stop in just to give a hug to you and Melissa and just be
Thank
in
you.
this space that you have created. It is
Thank,
It
beautiful.
is.
So thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you for hosting our
Yes.
Vision Board workshop. And like you said, we will post the link here. It's Thursday, January 16th from 5 to 7 p.m. And you don't need to bring anything but yourself. And hopefully you'll walk away with something that resonates with you for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'm excited.
Thank,
Can't
Thank you
wait.
for having me.
thank
And
you. Sorry we missed Melissa, but hopefully
yeah,
she's enjoying the sunshine.
she
Yes.
And
she really wanted to be here, but I'm sure she's gonna see this, and she's also very thankful that you are coming and doing your board with us. And I can speak from both that we're very excited.
well,
So
we're
So are we.
excited too. So enjoy this cold, windy, but beautiful winter's day. And we'll see everybody next Friday.
thank you.
Happy
Thank
New
you. Bye.
Year.